Hey guys, what do you call a blind Batman?
I don't know.
Kristen Braille. Welcome to the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. It's Fanboys Live the Retro Review. I'm so happy that you're joining us today, and I hope that you've had a really good and successful, happy weekend. Joining us today, we would love to say, is Tim the Comic Collector, but he's only here in spirit. Or was it he was drinking too many spirits and that's why he isn't here?
A little bit of both.
Yeah. A little bit of both, okay. But we have Signature King here. How are you, SK?
I'm good, good. Nice weekend.
Great. And we have that auctioneer himself, Comic Food 2814. How are you today?
Doing well.
Good. Good to hear. Auction was a big success?
Yeah, I think Squatchy did well.
Awesome.
Good.
And if you're joining us on the Rewind, we welcome you to today's episode. First in the chat, though, is John's Comics with Kids. Hope that you're doing well and having a good weekend.
Hey, John.
Nice to see Cookie popping in. That's awesome. I haven't seen Cookie in a live for a while, so just a little podcast is here. And so is James Warlord. So as others join us as well, like Super Russ 9000, we'll say hi to you. And thank you for being part of today's show. How was everyone's weekend? What's new? Gas station nachos can kill. Did you know that?
I was unaware.
Yeah. We know now. We don't know now from personal experience.
That's not what happened. We know that died from gas station nachos.
But we have heard people have died from gas station nachos.
Yes.
We've read the articles.
It's a thing.
It is a thing. So outside of that, what's new? Hey, Ben Compton. Ben Compton's here. How you doing? Okay. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. There's actually quite a bit of news now that the writers' strike is over.
Yeah.
It all came flooding in since the week was over. And honestly, like I said, there is quite a bit. Some of it's spec, some of it not spec. So I'm going to start with the speculation. So if you recall, James Gunn did say a lot of his Guardians of the Galaxy crew is jumping over to DC. And honestly, they said the same thing too. We're going to jump ship. And there's a lot of Marvel characters hopping over to DC since they're done because they want to follow James Gunn. So apparently we have our Wally West. This is our spec. This is our spec. This is huge speculation. I've tried to find several sources to confirm this, but I've only found two, and they quote the same source. If it's true, Chris Evans will be Wally West.
Interesting.
Yeah. Crazy.
That is, and I say this, and I don't mean this in a negative, but this is why I say interesting. I thought they would cast someone a little bit younger. Not that Chris Evans is old.
I can see that.
But I thought they would go a little bit younger. Well, that's interesting. Like
Guy Gardner.
Yeah, that's interesting
too.
Yeah, keep in mind this is hugely amount of spec. Nothing has been confirmed, but they source there's an issue down here. Where is it? In the current Flash run, Flash #1, Dawn of DC #1, I guess is the inspiration for that Wally West is Chris Evans too. So
wow,
kind of cool. So we have at least he's in the portraying Wally West, I guess, so to speak, in the comic books, and it does. Once they do a side by side comparison, it actually does look almost pretty identical to Chris Evans minus the beard, but. I guess there's a push for him to come over to DC and play Wally West, which I think would be pretty cool.
You guys might not know this, and this is before the comic book stuff happened. Chris Evans has been my favorite actor since before he started in the comic book movies. I saw him in a movie called Cellular, and I thought he was so good in that's when he became my favorite.
Yeah. Interesting.
Let's say hi to Sean Franklin, who's joining us. Hi, Sean.
William Dafoe in talks of a new DC character.
So I was just looking on Chris Evans real quick. He's also talked about staying on as Captain America, though. So that would be weird.
I'm sure that'd be a huge conflict of interest. But again, it's all speculation. Who knows? Nobody's casted anything, so
yeah.
Who knows? Blue Beetle is now streaming on HBO Max, or just the Max, whatever you want to call it.
Is it?
Yep. Or wait. Yeah, now streaming. Okay. Yep, now streaming. So if you're didn't get a chance to see it, it was okay. Wasn't a huge blockbuster, but whatever.
Sean had a question here for you guys.
You like Bloodshot?
I like the movie.
I don't know. I don't know
here.
if I like it. Yeah, I have no
Same
idea.
here.
Never really read it. Jeff Johns says he's coming back to help with the new DCU. Which is cool. And he did briefly talk about it at Baltimore Comic-Con. He said there was a lot of stuff he couldn't really discuss because of the writer's strike, but he said that he was still heavily involved in their film industry, whatever you want to call it. And that's literally the only thing he could say about it. He's still involved. And he did show off, for those of you who liked Geiger, Jeff Johns did show off test footage for Geiger at Baltimore Comic-Con. It looks awesome. It looks so cool. I'm so excited.
Was it off the scale?
It was off the scale. It was off the charts.
Awesome.
But yeah, if you're all you Geiger fans, what do you think about Jason David Frank Bloodshot? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I can't give an opinion. Apparently, allegedly, there is a storyline in the new DCU. Two soft confirmed storylines. Number one, Swamp Thing, Parliament of Trees. That's pretty cool. I like that storyline. And the second, we will probably be getting a Batman Who Laughs appearance, or I didn't really specify, but from the Nightmareverse. So your Red Deaths, Batman the Merciless, Bryce Wayne, all those, which I think would be pretty cool.
Speaking of Swamp Thing, Fu,
Yep.
you remember that in an older Swamp Thing comic book that had her first appearance of a really good character.
37. It's got like that yellow
Yeah,
cover.
the one with the yellow cover on that everyone has.
Everybody has it, which is the unfortunate part, because you want to have something that's kind of unique, but
Everybody has
and
it.
their mother has it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, Christy?
Dude, we should send Christy one.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't get past me because I'm the mail czar.
That is illegal.
It
You
wouldn't.
cannot open Christie's mail.
Well, I'm not opening it. Now it's a safety because I'm concerned. It's got to go. I got to X-ray it.
Now, everyone knows, even Paul S. knows, that we would not send anything glittering to Christy. Hey, Paul, how you
you'd
doing?
find a way to pressurize it, and then I would open it and go.
Now, to
By the
you
way,
we would, but not
I'm
to Christy.
still seeing that glitter everywhere, and I opened it outside. Well, it's probably in my hair, to be honest with you. I think it's my family, but
I think you're
that's
in a
another story.
garage too. That's not exactly outside.
I was, but there's the garage. I mean, it's attached to the house, but you can't go into the house from the garage. Like I got to go outside, and I hit myself with a leaf blower.
Tony, it's glitter.
That's true. I'm gonna sell the house, and they're gonna be finding glitter. Booster Gold live action series is officially underway. They can start that process, which is pretty cool. Amanda Waller, the TV show, will eventually cross over with Creature Commandos. I don't know if you guys care about that. But I like Waller. I like Viola Davis. Peacemaker will also be crossing over with Waller. of course. Penguin TV show is back on track. Constantine 2 has more movements. They said it's still in the works, so that's pretty cool. We already know about the Joker and the Batman 2. Swamp Thing, the movie has been bumped up. They still don't give us a date. They just said they're going to make it more of a priority, which is cool. I like Swamp Thing. Superman Legacy is still number 1, coming out July 11th, 2025. Those are the bigger updates. Pretty cool updates. I like the fact that they gave everything a little bit of even if it's a small update, like still happening or it's moving forward or we're giving it a bigger release date. Lanterns is also on the list as still happening. Which is good because that's another show that I want to see is Lanterns, True Detective in space. And I think that's a great. It's going to be awesome. Hal Jordan, Jon Stewart, hell yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the big Writers Guild update for everything. The only one they didn't talk about was Supergirl. Everything else got an update. Supergirl and Paradise Lost are the other ones that didn't get an update. But maybe there isn't an update to give. Maybe they're canceled. I don't know.
I did see news-wise that DC Comics is going to have officially licensed ugly Christmas sweaters for the holiday season this year. So those are coming.
I think didn't they do that a couple Christmases ago, or maybe
these are real wearable clothes,
okay.
Not just like a variant cover of theme.
No,
These
yeah,
are real,
yeah. I mean, like a real, but maybe it's just someone making them in their own home or something. But
yeah. Oh, sorry, John. I have my phone in the other room, so I didn't see that.
Tell me they have a Harley one.
As long as I can wear them with my Shazam socks, I'll be good. Or if we're feeling brave, we could go with the Nightwing socks.
Or
no, there's no third option. There is no third option.
Who has Green Lantern socks?
I do.
I had some, but they were like really paper thin, and they just didn't last very long.
And someone even sent Foo some Green Lantern drawers once.
Mm-hmm.
Shameless plug: if you guys are interested in superhero merch across, doesn't matter, DC, Marvel, Independent, superhero stuff out of Norristown, Pennsylvania, superherostuff.com. You can get all kinds of stuff that you didn't know existed that was superhero themed, all the way down to pizza cutters. If you're into that.
So in some news, I thought this was pretty cool. Anyone know where Logansport, Indiana is at?
Isn't that a suburb of Indianapolis?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure it is. I mean,
Okay.
I can't say for certain, but I think it is.
We might have to go there after we swing over to Metropolis. We might have to swing over there because on October 13th in Logansport, Indiana, the very first permanent museum dedicated to Batman 66 is being launched.
That's Batman 66?
Yeah, and they've got some clothing that the actors and actresses wore on the show. They have some replica stuff like that. I think,
okay, yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I know what you're talking about.
I think that's pretty cool. That it's the first permanent museum. Now, there's been some traveling pieces that have been on display for a small time period at different places, but this is going to be a permanent museum.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, there's looking at a map here, that's pretty cool. Let's do that.
Yeah.
So I was just at my LCS today, one of them, and I actually saw a book on the wall that caught my interest. I had to pick it up, and that's Green Arrow #4. Did either of you guys get that this week?
No.
It's on my pull list, but I didn't get it.
Check out who's on the cover.
Oh,
Ooh, Parallax, yeah.
Yep, it's the return of Parallax. So I took a look through. I've read the story. It's to be honest, it's not all that great. In fact, it kind of seems to present like Ollie and Hal as less of friends than they are, right? Like, I understand some animosity when it first started, but they really were really very good friends. I didn't fully get that from this. It was kind of like what's that story? where he goes back, sees Christmas past and Christmas present and future.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like that. But there is one really cool scene. The art is pretty good throughout this whole book. And there's one scene in particular that, how cool is that?
Ooh,
Make you big.
Parallax just screaming enough.
that's cool.
Yeah, with the fear symbol in his mouth. I thought that was awesome. So, yeah, I just thought I would share that if for Green Lantern fans.
I thought for sure you're going to pull out a foil and make us do the foil off again.
We could do a foil off.
We did figure out where Tony's foil came from, even though he had no idea where it came from. It's I believe it's coming out with another con. It might be New York. I don't know, but
New York's got a lot coming.
Yeah.
Which foil is this?
That other Green Lantern foil that you had that doesn't match the set.
Oh yeah.
I think it's from New York, and it's maybe it just came out or it's just about to come out. Yeah, that one.
But I got this it's been weeks ago.
Which is crazy. Yeah, you got it really early. Then I don't know.
You're right. That is the one. Isn't that the one the Comic Mint's doing? The Justice League.
The Comic Mint.
Set? Yeah.
Yes. That's the one.
Is it really?
Yep.
I gotta check now because
and you've already got it.
Yeah, that is. Now that you say that, that is what it is.
I know. Because
I was wondering. I think you're right now.
I was like, "What is that?"
Mm-hmm.
I think you're right because I showed it to you guys and you guys were confused too, and that confused me. Like, isn't this the same one? And I looked and it wasn't in CLZ. Like, they couldn't find.
Mm-hmm.
When I'd scan it, it said nothing found. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, or
Comics Mint.
Maybe this was like a Philip Kennedy Johnson exclusive.
Well, it's probably his creator copies.
Yeah,
no, I'm serious.
No, that makes sense
because they get extra. Get extra copies of those. Sometimes they get like 30 to 50 extra copies.
Jeez, why would they do that?
But just in case, we're doing a foil off, I have my.
It doesn't match.
Already.
What do you mean? It
doesn't match. I mean, I can't say for certain, but if you look at the one on Comic Mint, it's bright green and in the center is white. This one is dark green and the center is silver. It's super close. It might just be the picture.
Could be the picture.
Could just be the picture, and you might be right. It might be the same thing.
Wow.
But this is a dark green with a silver center. This one's a light green with a white center. Could just, like you said, could just be the picture, and you might be 100% right. But I don't know. It just doesn't. I'm not sold that that's what it is yet. But who knows? Maybe he sold off one, like what you said. Maybe he sold off one of his creator copies, which would be pretty cool. I mean, I'd be one of the first ones to get it. But I don't know. It just doesn't look the same.
Take a picture, send it to Comic Mint, and say, "Is this what you're selling?"
I should hey.
What do you mean it has white in the middle?
Like look at the. You have the photo up,
yeah.
Like the center, like the Green Lantern logo isn't silver; it's just white. I mean, it's on my phone. It's terrible. The actual.
Green. What do you mean it's green?
No. Like the outline of the symbol, like here, the circle, that's on the book. It's silver, but in the picture, it's white.
No, it's silver.
I don't know. It looks white.
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
It's silver.
Well, we'll find out. And if it is the same thing, haha, I got one before all of you.
I got a book ready if you want to foil off.
A foil off? Oh, for having a real foil off. I can
yeah, you want to have a real foil off?
Yes.
And then we'll do the retro review?
Yeah, let's.
Okay. Fu, when it's ready, you get the 1, 2, 3 count, okay?
Okay. Is Fu participating?
Are you participating or are you just counting?
I did not come prepared.
You can just count then, okay?
Okay. You 3, 2, 1 it.
Okay.
All right. No. 1, 2, 3.
I have that one too.
That's it? I've seen both of those.
Yeah, but this was signed.
And you haven't seen me have this one.
I got to admit, the only reason I got this one is because I saw Warlord was in the chat. I love you, buddy, but I don't know if I could trade this one. I know you are dying to get your hands on it, but I don't know if I can do it.
Where'd you even get it from?
I
He's
knew a
not
guy.
telling.
I really don't think I should say, but yeah, there's only 500 in existence. There's only 500.
It's a fan expo. Okay.
Yeah, Fan Expo exclusive. But yeah, news wise, I know that's all I got. Anybody else got
Nope, that
anything?
sounds about right.
Nope.
No? Okay. All right. That wraps up the news here.
Yeah. So I chose the retro review tonight. And this is
Good
a title
one.
that, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I'm working on. I actually started buying this when it was a brand new title. As a young childhood collector. And it's one that I've kind of gone back and really enjoyed in my revisiting of the title. So that's kind of why I picked it tonight. It's Batman and the Outsiders. We're going to do their first appearance, which was a preview issue, and then we're going to do the first two of the regular series. So Brave and the Bold number 200 was the final issue of Brave and the Bold. And Batman and the Outsiders became Brave and the Bold. That's what took its spot, for those that don't know.
Full disclosure, though, before we dive too deep into it, there is a lot of flags bearing the symbol of the Axis power during World War II. At least in my issue. I don't know about your guys' issue. YouTube's having a fit about showing those. I can't even say the name of it because the algorithm will flag the video on Lasso's channel. I don't want anything to happen to his channel, so I'm going to refer to them as the Axis powers during World War II, and I'm not going to show the pages with that symbol. So, heads up. I'm sorry, continue.
No, does anyone mind getting me an assist for Brave and the Bold 200, the second story?
Oh yeah, I got it.
So that's kind of why I chose this. The story that I'm doing is the first appearance of several different characters, including Geo-Force, Halo, and Katana. And story-wise, my story, although it's the first one that was published, and it was published a month before Batman and the Outsiders issue 1 was released, my story already has them established, knowing each other. And chronologically, it takes place after issue 3, between issue 3 and issue 4.
This is the current issue of Batman Brave and the Bold. That's not what I want.
You might remember around this time that DC was doing a lot of these little preview inserts inside of different titles and different books. Whose favorite Captain Carrot even debuted as a preview.
Yep.
Interesting.
What's that?
I have found the trade paperback to Brave and the Bold, but not the single issue.
Let me look.
Ooh, what are you eating?
They're so good.
He can't even say what they are. They're so good.
What are they?
Just these little rainbow candies.
Oh, man. Those look like the gobstoppers from Willy Wonka. I think that's what they were called.
I should not have bought them. I can't stop eating.
Better than gas station nachos?
You know, I think maybe.
Hey, if it comes from Casey's, the answer is no. Nothing's better.
1955, right? There it is. What number?
200. Second story.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Thank you.
You know, where certain people fail, others have no
me.
problem.
Hey, in my defense, I'm a government employee. I'm going to do the bare minimum.
There we go.
So that was the main cover. And the story we're doing is at the end. Nope, it's not that one. Keep going.
Oh.
Okay, there you go. So that's our mock cover, which was never an official reel cover. That almost reminds me a little bit of the cover to All-Star Squadron issue 1 with the photos laid out and they're deciding who's going to be, although everyone gets chose.
That is actually a pretty cool cover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get started then. So we have Commissioner Gordon talking that he's pretty upset. You know, Gotham's crime rate is higher than ever, and he has to take some of his officers off the street to protect a terrorist who's trying to kill himself. And the guy's like, you know, well, if that offends you, then free me and I'll finish the job and take you with me. And Commissioner Gordon is just upset. The cop's reminding him of his high blood pressure. And this guy essentially is just waiting for someone to come in and kill him. But as you see by the shadow, Gordon's not alone. There's someone there watching. So we see that we have this ambulance that's backing in there. They open up the back of the door and kill one of the armed guards that's there to try to protect this man. And some of this terrorist, some of his organization, his cult followers are there. And they're going to make him a martyr. His name is Nicholas Wills. And they're going to kill him and make him a martyr for the cause. So we cut into the next page and we see, looks like a candy striper coming into the burn ward. And this guy is telling her, you know, he's got tickets to the Clash concert. How about it, baby? And she says, I thought Clash was a conflict of some sort. How can it be a concert? And she's offering the pills to the child that needs the medical care. And all of a sudden they see that Marcus has been freed. He is set to essentially explode himself and shoots a blast of fire against this little girl, which causes the candy striper. She's like, can't allow myself to panic. Not now. The Batman said just to relax, to concentrate. And she does. And she morphs into this character. And he says, keep coming, cutie. I'm betting you're not fireproof. And she's right. And she says, you're right. But with your aim, I don't have to be. And my name isn't Cutie. It's Halo. And then she says, you know, he's out of the way, but those running humans could hurt each other. So she's worried about handling them. The sprinkler should handle the fire. And her stasis aura will calm the crowd. Then she realizes that she's run into him again. And he says, you know what, sister, I may have been down, but you're the one who's out like a used match. And he goes to light her on fire. When all of a sudden someone is saying, sorry, Firefly. And he turns around to see who it is. And a big copper candle snuffer is put over him, courtesy of Metamorpho, the Element Man. And he's like, well, this won't stop me. And he's like, sure it will, Smokey, especially if I can convert a few of its atoms to hydrogen. And you know what happens when hydrogen and fire meet. So he tells Halo that she can come on out. And she says, did it work? And he said, yes. But he said, if I had any hair, it would be gray, because it really looked like he was barbecuing you. But it was an image cast by your illusionary aura. But it looked really real. They hear a cry for help. And they run back. And there's a patient who's saying, in all this commotion, my leg seems to have been damaged. Can you call the doctor? And Halo's like, your leg? I forgot, what part of you is that? So we start to realize that something's up with Halo here. But then we cut back to Michael's group here, the terrorists, and they're essentially trying to take the hospital captive. They see this old granny that's over there, and she's not listening to them, and they say, you know, 2 hostages are better than 1. So they grab the granny, who rips her mask off to reveal that she is really Katana. And while all this commotion was going on, it gives a chance that no one will see that Jefferson Pierce, not just a hospital orderly, but he's really Black Lightning. So he jumps in, and he says, hey, I know the food's bad, but is this the answer? And Katana says, hey, murderers, have you lost your taste for fair combat? And one of the female followers of this cult jumps in and she says, I'm ready to embrace death this night. And Katana says, are you really? And they start a sword fight. And Katana says, then you will not mind if I send you to the arms of your lover this instant. And she realizes that Katana will really kill her. And she's like, you'd kill me? And Katana says, oh, yes. And then she says, I surrender. Katana's warned that there's something behind her. And she stops and is able to deflect this beam with her sword, and she realizes that the girl is starting to run off, and she warns her that's probably not a good idea. So the girl just stops in her tracks. We cut back to Black Lightning. He's cornered a little bit, but he realizes that he's quicker than their triggers, so he kind of bounces off the walls, gets up to them, and gives them a big smash in the face, enough to scare the other one just to run away. As he gets a big ball of lightning in his fist and throws it out there and declares that lightning does strike fast. So he's got 2 of the captives. He connects back with Katana. Batman's saying that this is all wrong, how the terrorists entered the hospital here, but we've captured 5 of them, but there's 6 sets of footprints, so there's 1 that's free. And he's like, that's it. They were there to create a diversion. And he warns the outsiders, that this was all the diversion to get to the real Mycos. And then we see that the guy who is really in disguise as part of this group who's going after Mycos, he's up to the real police guard and he's asking for identification. And he takes care of that. And all of a sudden, we see that he's dressed, ready to explode himself. And he's got a bomb strapped to his chest. And Halo says, "What happened, mister?" And Batman cuts her off and she says, "Code names, Halo, code names." She said, so we're getting established here that apparently she knows who Batman is. Although, from what I read, this is a continuity error because this is the only time that she ever refers to knowing that. And the rest of the issue, she acts as if she does not know who Batman's secret identity is. So Simon, who is the guy that burst through, who's going to kill Mycos, he says, "This is fine. We'll kill ourselves and take Batman and 4 other so-called heroes with us, and they'll die now." And we see this big explosion. And then we see someone from the outside say, "Buy my crown." And they jump out of this costume, that hat and trench coat that they're wearing, and reveals himself to be Geo-Force. And he says, "Batman was correct in having me wait in reserve to try to save any of the good people." And he uses his null gravity power to remove the threat. And he says, "The people are safe, but what about his teammates?" And he's like, "No, they're dead. They're reduced to drifting powder." Not quite, GF. Metamorpho had protected them. The only one that ended up dying was Simon, who was the guy that burst into the room, one of Michael's thugs with the
bomb.
Thank you. Every day I lose another word.
Yep, it happens.
With the bombs strapped to him. So Metamorpho was able to protect everyone else, including Commissioner Gordon and Mycos. Commissioner Gordon says, he thanks Batman and he says, "But who are they? Are they members of the Justice League?" Batman says, "No, Commissioner, and neither am I. Not anymore. We call ourselves the Outsiders, and we'll be around if you need us." Cop says to Commissioner, "Are you all right, Commissioner?" And he says, "Haggerty, it might not be such a bad day after all." So that's how the preview ends. This is our first time finding out, and there's a little ad there for the next month's issue, which we're about to review, of Batman and the Outsiders. So this is us learning that Batman's quit the Justice League, and he's with this group now. And, as a comic book fan, especially a big Batman fan, you're probably going, what the heck is happening here? And we get a little bit of explanation in issue number 1. I was going to say dynamite instead of bomb, but now that word finally came to me.
That's okay.
I think this cover is awesome, by the way.
It is a nice cover.
Fantastic.
That would be a great poster.
Yep.
It would be a good poster.
Yeah, so Batman and the Outsiders were one of my favorite teams as a kid. It was one of the earliest comics I ever got. And so I kind of knew Batman from the Outsiders before I even knew him from the Justice League.
What year did this come out?
83, isn't it?
83? There you
83,
go.
That's what I think, yeah.
Yeah, I've always thought this was a really fun team. So, okay, so we get their origin issue here. So you get this nice splash. Wars ended, wars begun. And for those that are not familiar with this team here, of course, we've got Batman, Halo, as we were just introduced to. We've got her brother, Geo-Force here. Down on the lower left is Black Lightning. And then we've got Katana. And Black Lightning, he was around earlier. He came out with he had his own comic for a bit. We had Katana in the middle, and then we've got Metamorpho, who again, he's goes way back to the early Silver Age.
Just one quick correction there.
Yeah.
Halo and Geo-Force aren't brother and sister. Geo-Force's sister is in the Teen Titans. That's Terra.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. So here we go. We start off with Bruce Wayne and Lucius Fox basically saying goodbye. Bruce Wayne is headed off, Lucius is headed off on a trip to a country called Markovia. They're in Europe, just kind of between France and Belgium, I think. So he's headed over there, and Bruce Wayne's going to have to kind of like handle things on his own there in Gotham as Batman, of course, but on his own. So we cut over to him later that night as with Batman taking out this guy called the Rooster. Again, stopping these petty criminals, but he's also kind of upset with himself that he didn't wait longer so that he could have gotten the buyer as well. There he sees Lucius's jet flying off in the air. And says, well, I hope he has a good flight to Europe. Meanwhile, he takes this criminal here over to jail. You can see he's battling a whole just gang of thugs, basically. Gets home, and he goes on for 48 hours doing this, by the way. And he gets home, and of course, Alfred's waiting there for him. And he's also waiting there with a newspaper. Bruce had been so busy, he hadn't been paying attention to the news. And he finds out that Lucius had gone missing in Markovia during a revolution that started there. So Bruce is obviously very upset, and he's like, I've got to do something. And Alfred's like, he tells Alfred, go call this person, go call this person, go call the embassies, State Department. And Alfred's like, I already did, sir. And he's like, I did my best. And Bruce is like, yeah, I know you did, but I can do better. So with that, he calls the Justice League. And they get there, and the Justice League is all kind of a little annoyed with Batman. He's the last one to arrive. He called the meeting. And yeah. So he gets there, and immediately Batman starts going in about Markovia, this revolution, got to go help his friend, and he's leaving no time for anyone else to speak. Superman keeps trying to get a word in, saying, hey, we got to talk, you know? He's like, nope, keeps talking. Finally, Wonder Woman's like, Batman, slow down. And Superman explains, he's like, look, the UN has already contacted us, or the State Department, and they're afraid of the escalating situation. We cannot have the Justice League involved. So Superman agreed. And Batman's like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't. So effective immediately, I resign. So now he's not a member of the Justice League, and he's free to go get involved in this conflict in Markovia, even though Superman doesn't want him to. But at least it does not involve the Justice League, I guess, technically. So Batman storms off. And he basically, you know, he's looking at it like, look, I didn't make a promise to the Justice League. I didn't make a promise to do the right thing. Superman wants him to be some kind of idol to little kids. He's like, that's not what Batman's about. I want them to fear me, not idolize me. I'm here to do the right thing until the end. And it's really not about me or passing it along. It's just about stopping the criminals, basically. So he takes off, and here we get this little map of Markovia. It looks like it's between, like I said, France and Belgium, and Luxembourg. So we get to the castle here, where we see that the old king of Markovia is about to pass away, and he's got his two sons there. And he's basically saying his goodbyes, and the older son now takes over as the king. Which is King Gregor. The younger son, however, It seems a little bit more impulsive, if you will. And this doctor shows up, this scientist, and she wants to continue the experiments of her father. This new King Gregor's like, not now, not now. We need weapons. But his younger brother's like, actually, let me go talk to her. She gave our sister powers. So I guess that would be Tara from the Teen Titans. He's like, so let me go see what she can do for me. So with that, though, the rest of the village, they have to get ready for these invaders coming in, the revolutionaries, I guess. The king's having to deal with this and worry about it. Meanwhile, his brother's off with this scientist. And yeah. So at that point, that's not too important. Yeah, we get this guy here that shows up trying to get into the castle. He's met by this military guard, and he's like, hey, take me to your leader. And he's like, what? He's like, yeah, I got something for him. And this bar of gold drops out. He's like, yeah, this is what I've got. And we learned, too, that this is basically, I think it's Lucius's brother, we learn. And he's there looking for him. And so the guard brings him in. He says, hey, he says his name is Fox, says he's looking for his brother. And meanwhile, he's like, so far, so good. He's talking on the radio to Batman. So Batman's actually had to bring Jefferson into this. And he knows. Oh, and I'm sorry, he's not his brother, but that's the story that they've concocted between Batman and Jefferson here, and who we will quickly learn is Black Lightning. So he goes on to meet the general, and no sooner does he give him the thing of gold, and he's basically stabbed in the back from outside the tent. And we can tell very quickly Black Lightning had nothing to do with this. In fact, it actually kind of messes up his plans because now they think he did it. So he's immediately, you see, he has to tear off his disguise, showing who he really is, Black Lightning here, and he takes out the whole tent of guards. Meanwhile, we see that the person that took out the general through the tent was, in fact, Katana. So right away, we learn that Katana is not working with Batman and Black Lightning. Those two are working together. But she basically was here to get vengeance, and now she's ready to leave. But the guards aren't having any of it, so they're after her. Meanwhile, Black Lightning is still facing off with the rest of the guards in the tent, and one of the generals here actually gets the better of him and hits him in the back of the head, knocking him out. Batman hears this. He's very upset. He's all set to jump into battle and go help. He turns around, though, and he sees none other than Halo here. She's very confused, doesn't know where she is or who she is, and she just zaps Batman. She starts to fly away, but she's like kind of dizzy, and Batman ends up catching her and realizes something is wrong. She's like, please don't hurt me. And he's like, look, if I wanted to hurt you, we wouldn't be talking right now. So he asks how long it's been since you've had food, and she answers very strangely, like she doesn't even know what food is. So again, kind of like Lasso story, something's wrong with her. Flashback over to the science lab now, where the younger brother and the scientist was headed off to, and she said we see him in his new uniform here. And she tells him that the Geo-Force that he will receive comes from the Earth itself. And she zaps him with this beam, effectively turning him into Geo-Force. And he loves the way it feels. Immediately, the revolutionaries bust in. And he bursts into action. He's got gravity power, so he can render their bullets harmless. He's got lava blast that will melt their weapons. However, he is still vulnerable. He still can get hit, and you can see he's getting hit here. So just then, this other guy that had been kind of investigating was takes off his disguise, and it turns out it was Metamorpho. Metamorpho knocks out the guards and kind of helps out. And then I didn't quite understand this panel here, but they shoot a bullet and it seems to like wrap around him in a way that he breaks into pieces. I don't understand what happened, but he breaks into pieces and they put him into this bag. And I guess they've also taken out Geo-Force now. So now they've got those two. They've got Black Lightning captured. And they decide that they're going to go bury Geo-Force so that they don't make him a martyr. They bury him under the ground, which is a bad idea for Geo-Force. You see his hand coming out here. At that point, we see Halo flying Batman over. And she's like, hey, if you're such a great detective, can you help me figure out who I am? And he's like, yep, that's the deal. You help me and with free my friends, and I'll help figure out who you are. So they come up all stealthy to this guard, and Batman's like, you stay here. Can you change your halo to a different color so you don't glow so brightly? And she does. And so he's like, okay, be very quiet. Batman sneaks in to get this guard, and she sees another guard come up behind him and zaps him. And he's like, Halo, no, I heard him coming. Of course he did. He's Batman. So, but now the rest of the guards heard them. And so now Batman's got to take them all on. And of course, they capture Batman. So you can see they're capturing all of them one by one. They come into the cell here. We've got Metamorpho in pieces on the ground. We've got Lucius Fox. We see him in the cell here. We've got Black Lightning on the wall behind. And now we've got Batman here. And the general here, Baron Bedlam, shows up himself because he is so excited to actually see the Batman in person. He doesn't care anything about these other ones, but he wants to meet Batman. And we will continue this in Tony's issue next.
Yes.
All right.
Get mine up here. Okay, let me share my screen. So, like I said before, there's a lot of things I can't show on here. This guy, let's go with this one. So there's going to be pages where I got to stop showing. If it was on my channel, it would be one thing. I wouldn't care. But hey, Superman 3 movie sweepstakes. Go ahead and fill it out. You could be in Superman 3. So Markovia's last stand here. We have Batman, and he is was captured in the previous issue, and we're calling this guy the Red Baron, right? I'm pretty sure he's the Red Baron. Yeah. Baron Bedlam.
Baron Bedlam.
Baron
Red Baron.
Well, in the issue, they do refer to him as the Red Baron.
Okay.
Red
and yes, that is what we're calling him.
Okay, fair enough.
You have to eat a specific brand of pizza, though.
Yes. Sold.
And you have to have a Snoopy collectible.
I don't have any Snoopy stuff. Sorry. Okay, so he's got the Batman the Outsiders all captured and all kinds of disarray, and Batman has a plan on how to free everyone, but some things have to align first, and Baron's doing the typical bad guy stuff, talking about how things are the way they are because of in this case he's talking about he calls it the American interference of his country. And Batman's like, just gotta keep him talking. I gotta give Black Lightning a chance to hit him with one of his bolts. It's our only way out of here. And Red Baron is continuing to talk about Markovia. And this is already, I gotta shut it off because the next page it's full of them. So he's just doing a reminisce about during World War II, what happened in his country. The Germans came to his country, ousted the king, put in a friendly head of state that was more sympathetic to the cause. And it was his father, Baron's father, that the Axis powers had chose to kind of be a puppet. And things were going great. And those who didn't believe in the cause. They were just straight up executed. And then one day, the Americans came and kind of put an end to that. After D-Day, they came into France, and then they came into Markovia, and his father, Baron's father, was put on trial and hung for his crimes. And they put back the king, the ousted king, in power again. Okay, so let me pop up my screen again. We're past those symbols, so I think it's safe for a little while. And he's like, cut to now, I have a chance to revenge my father, get put back on the throne, so to speak. And Batman's kind of filling in. Black Lightning, like, listen, you gotta hit him with a lightning bolt. It's the only other way. We got to fix Metamorpho. We cut to Halo in the woods, who's growing bright blue for some reason, even though she was just green and blending in. And who comes up behind her but Katana? And she's saying, listen, if you make another noise, like, this is it for you. You're going to die right here. Where is everybody? And Halo kind of fills in where the Batman and the rest kind of went. He got captured. And I'm trying to go save him. Katana's like, okay, let's go together. So they storm the building. Meanwhile, Geo-Force is awake. He's back from his early grave, so to speak. I don't know if I can show that, so I'm going to skip it. So they do a certain salute. Anyway, so here come the guards. They're going to come take away Black Lightning, Batman, and Metamorpho. And Batman's like, listen, if you're going to do it, you got to do it now. Black Lightning, he's able to focus his lightning and kind of break out of his chains and hit him with a bolt, kind of bringing him back to life and reassembling him. And this is my favorite part of the book. He could be anything. He'd change his body to be anything. So he decides the best thing to do would just be a big shovel and shovel these guys right out the door. I mean, it worked. So I can't complain. And the ones that didn't work, he changes his body into a gas, kind of gasses them out. So that's a pretty cool trick. He unlocks Batman and Black Lightning. They run down. They meet up with Mr. Fox and Katana and Halo, and they find some other non-sympathetic Markovians to his cause. So Batman is saying, look, you guys don't look so good. Help us end. We're going to end this conflict before it even starts, to prevent World War III. We cut back to the Baron, and he's charging his powers, and he's going to go out there and he's going to take on the people who oppose him coming back to rule. And they meet on top of this big hill. Gregor, the current prince who was going to be king, and the Markovian forces. By the way, love the design of this uniform. You can't screw it up. Where are these people from? They got a giant M on their helmet from Markovia. Just shoot the guys with the giant M on their head. Can't miss it. Even this civilians with literal pitchforks and sticks show up to join the battle. They see the flare. The battle has begun. Civilians die. The prince is hit, but Batman is able to scoop up the flag and kind of raise morale to the troops here. And they're going after the Baron. Black Lightning doesn't really stand a chance. So Geo-Force and Baron kind of punch each other up the way to the royal castle, where Batman informs her, like, Halo, you got to get up there. We have a plan, but we can't let Geo-Force take all the hits. So Metamorpho, again, great transformation. To help the lady move faster, straps her to like a chair with like a seatbelt and just kind of like reaches up there to put her up. It was really funny. I think there's gonna be great things for Metamorpho in the coming movies. But anyway, so we cut back to the big fight. Red Baron is about to to finish him, and all of a sudden his power charge gets like too weak, and he was holding this big boulder up and he was going to smash G-Force with it, but he smashed his own head because he couldn't hold it up anymore. G-Force kind of gives him his gratitude, like, hey, about time. But at this point, he's defeated. But G-Force is kind of upset. So his victims are the people of Markovia. So let them judge him. So he kind of chucks him off the wall of the castle into the arms of the people, which I thought was pretty funny. They're talking about giving not Mephisto. Why did you say Mephisto? Metamorpho. Maybe they could be the same thing. He just gave Metamorpho. They're talking about a cure to bring him back to humanity. But she says, "Look, I don't have a time frame. I can't even guarantee it'll work. So for the meantime, you're gonna have to stay the way you are." And Batman's like, "Great, come with me. All of you actually come with me. It doesn't seem like you really have a sense of purpose or being, or you're not sure how to use your powers, but we can figure it out together." And Metamorpho chimes in. He's like, "Awesome idea, Metamorpho and the Outsiders. I love it. How do you think of that, Batman?" And he replies back, "I've heard worse." And that's the end of the issue.
Nice.
All right. So thoughts on these storylines?
I like Batman and the Outsiders. I don't have a whole lot of experience with it, but I enjoyed it.
What about you, Fu? I know that this brings back nostalgia for you, like it does for me.
Yeah, no, I like it a lot. I loved it.
Great.
I think they're fun characters, and it's fun seeing them all come together for the first time, and in some cases even explore their powers for the first time as well.
Don't you think that this actually felt like this would have been a really cool cartoon?
Oh yeah,
or like an animated movie, stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah.
And
it's complicated too, because these are not necessarily like born to be heroes. They're having to figure it out. And then on top of it, they've got like one of like the 3 greatest heroes of all time leading them up. And it's kind of interesting to see Batman have to take more of a patient role than he's used to, maybe.
Yeah, and these aren't even really C-list heroes. You know what I mean? I don't even know where you'd put them on a scale, but yeah. So I agree. It's just kind of like hodgepodge of different characters and whatnot. But I still enjoy it. So 4 out of 5.
I'll do 4 out of 5.
All right, Fu's frozen. So
he's thinking it over.
He's definitely pondering what grade to give this.
Yeah, he's gonna make sure he gives it a good grade. So,
but I agree. I would like to see maybe more of them, or maybe get their own mini series back again. Didn't they have one in Rebirth? I thought maybe they got one.
Yeah, I think that they did. I'm sorry, that just tickles me.
Yeah, never go wireless if you don't have to. That's why. And he's gone.
So Tony, who do you think, now that we have some perspective time-wise here, who do you think is the breakout outsider? Out of all of the outsiders, which do you think is not Batman, but outside of Batman, who do you think is the most popular of these outsiders?
Probably Katana.
That's what I was going to say.
Probably Katana.
Yeah,
just because she's been in a live action movie. She's also appeared in a few other different teams other than the Outsiders. So I agree. You probably see more Katana than anybody else.
Yeah, I think so too. Do you know who my favorite is?
Who?
Halo.
Okay. My only critique about Katana, they're trying to force her down. They're doing the opposite with Katana than what they did with Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn started off kind of bad, and they're making her kind of good. Katana's getting the opposite treatment. She was good. Now she's kind of bad. If you've read a couple of stories, more recent ones with her, you can kind of see that. She kind of goes in sword heavy and just starts swinging. So not exactly Justice League compliant.
Yeah. So what did you bring for a book show tonight? And tell me about what's going on with your channel.
Let me grab one.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So let me tell you what's going on my channel first. So this past week, of course, we did a back issue of the week YouTube short, and it was about a Marvel group, a short-lived Marvel group published by Marvel Comics in the near the end of the 70s. And then I have a comic book editions video that's out on my channel already that you can check out for yourself and see some recent back issues that I've added into my collection. I mentioned last weekend that I went to this comic show. And in my comic book editions video that I put out this past week, I show you my haul from that show. So check it out. There's a lot of DC and some Marvel in there too. For coming up on my show, back issue of the week YouTube short, hopefully comes out tomorrow. It isn't filmed yet, but hopefully it's going to come out tomorrow morning. So that's on my to-do list tonight. And on Tuesday, I'm going to do a comic book editions video that's going to be half of a Black Widow haul and half Wonder Woman incentive covers that I've recently added into my collection. So we'll divide it into those two topics. That will be coming out Tuesday afternoon on my channel. And for a book show, I'm working on the Batman and the Outsiders run. I chose this one, honestly, because I thought the cover was like a nice
Oh, yeah.
pinup. You know, this is issue number 7.
About Batman and the Outsiders, what character would you add that's missing?
Would I add? That's a good question.
Would you add without removing any of the current run or anybody's on it? Me personally, I would add Firestorm. I think he'd be a good one.
Oh, Firestorm would be a good one.
Yes.
That's issue 7. That's the first one I ever got as a kid.
Oh, really?
That was my introduction to Batman and the Outsiders.
I didn't know that. That's why I picked it, because I thought this was a great team cover that looks like a pinup. It looks like a poster.
Yep. I got that off a newsstand, like a literal newsstand as a kid.
Well, look at my copy.
Yep.
Newsstand.
And then you said that's number 7. That came out in, is it still 83 or 84?
No, it's probably 84 by that point.
84? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't
early
even
84.
7 years old.
I was -3.
Sorry about that. My router bounced on me.
So we were asking, and you probably didn't hear this, but this will be good because you won't be influenced by our answer. Out of all of the Outsiders, not counting Batman, okay, which do you think history has said is the biggest of those characters? Tony and I had the same answer.
Black Lightning.
Really?
Yeah.
I can see that.
Okay. We said Katana.
Black Lightning.
Just because she's been in live action movies already.
Yeah.
She's still.
Has she had an entire series of her own?
Yeah,
That's true.
She has.
Black Lightning did have his own series.
I think Black Lightning had one before Katana, but Katana had at least a miniseries.
But Fu means a TV series too.
Yeah.
Because Black Lightning had his
TV
own
series.
TV series too.
Yeah, but it was on CW and it was hot garbage. So
No, but that's why I would think, yeah. I mean, what's the best known though? I'd probably say Metamorpho.
I would disagree on Metamorpho. I would disagree.
He's definitely the oldest, aside from Batman.
Yeah. He is the oldest.
That's true, but I would say if you walked up to someone who doesn't know anything about comic books or heroes, I would say the odds of them saying that one is Katana is probably higher than the rest. I mean, it's still low. We're talking maybe a 3%, but
yeah,
I don't think they would get a Metamorpho.
I wish that I could play this, but for copyright reasons I can't. But Metamorpho has the best song that was ever done about a comic book character. That song, that Arthur Korb song, that thing rocks the treehouse.
Yeah, I love Metamorpho. He's one of my favorite characters.
Well, you're going to see a live action.
Do you have a lot of his Silver Age books?
I've got his first appearance. I think it's Brave and the Bold, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then I've got his, or no, it's a showcase, is it?
Oh yeah, Showcase.
Yeah, whichever one. I've got his first, and then I've got Metamorpho #1 from the Silver Age as well.
Nice.
So yeah, I've got his stuff from then. I've always liked them, but I liked them from the book you held up.
What do you think about the casting for Metamorpho and Superman Legacy? Do you think? I don't know if you're familiar with the actor.
Who is it?
I don't recall his name, but he was in Gotham, and he was in that show with Bill Harder. I can't remember, but he's been in a lot of popular stuff. He's the gentleman with alopecia. He's got no hair, literally. He has alopecia. Gosh, I can't remember his name.
Oh, he'd be good.
Yeah,
I know who you mean.
Yeah, he's Metamorpho in Superman Legacy. So I imagine he's going to play that probably going forward.
Okay, well, Metamorpho is kind of an odd character. So yeah, I could see that, him playing that well.
And one other question.
That's who I'm thinking, because he plays kind of an odd character in Gotham too, right?
He does, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Besides just the no hair thing, I mean, that's easy enough. But yeah, no, I like that.
If you could add one character to the Outsiders, who would it be?
Oh,
another maybe further down the line hero. I said Firestorm.
Firestorm is a good pick.
Yeah, he's a relatively unknown. But
I'll tell you who would be interesting in the Outsiders. Zatanna.
Interesting. Yeah, I would say interesting, but I don't think it'd be a good fit.
Okay.
Just she's too powerful.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe I would say a young Zatanna, like she's not quite all the way there. I would say yes. But like a full-blown Zatanna, nah, too big. Too powerful.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that some more.
It's too many options.
Yeah. But it's got to be somebody who is a bit of an outsider, right? Who, again, doesn't quite fall into the normal.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many options out there, but
what about Joanne?
Yeah. How about the Metal Men? We'll add the Metal Men to the Outsiders. I could see that being just a perfect fit.
What about Danny the Street?
Oh, I like Danny the Street.
An underrated character for sure, Danny the Street. He ended up as just Danny the Brick towards the end of that show.
Yeah, he did. He got downgraded.
He did.
So
okay.
Was that your book show then last
That
time?
was my book show, yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm the only one who's
already
gone,
show
so
one?
no, he hasn't yet.
I have not. Mine is not Batman and the Outsiders related, but I'm still I still enjoy it because it's a signature that I didn't really know I could get at Baltimore Comic-Con until very, very shortly. So my book show is Olympus Rebirth #1, and it's kind of hard to tell up here. Caitlin Yarsky.
Oh, there it is.
Very nice young lady to talk to. I had a lot of fun chatting with her about books. So I had never heard of her until I got this book. And I guess this is one of the first DC books that she was kind of like mainstream on. So happy to get her and Lee Weeks last year to sign it. And I only need a few more signatures and this book is done. But coming up on my channel, just a lot of shorts. Shorts are my moneymaker, really. I did a lot of editing stuff, like full-length videos, 3 or 4 in a row. So I'm going to stop it for a while. That's a lot of work. And I don't know. I just feel like shorts are the parties at for me. So you're going to see a lot more shorts coming up. But
and by the way, I showed this, but I forgot to say hello to Brian.
Yes.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate you, my friend.
James Brian. But that's it for me.
Fu, and your book show and channel recap?
Yeah. So on my channel, Squatchy and I just had an auction on Friday. It was very successful. So thank you to everyone. I think I might actually be doing another one this Friday. Squatchy kind of did a theme with all of his Squatch books. I think I'm going to continue on with that with a theme and kind of do an all bronze thing. So stay tuned for that on Instagram. Aside from that, though, I did hit an LCS today. I only ended up picking up 2 books. So I don't know. I'll probably save those save up for my next video. But for the book show tonight, I love tonight's title. And that brought me back to 1993 when I started collecting this title as a kid. In fact, this was one I actually started getting in the mail. It was like a gift from my aunt back when you could still get them sent to you in the mail. And that is The Outsiders #1, Volume 2. This is Volume 2 of The Outsiders, and this is the new team. Now, what's really cool about this one is you see the little alpha symbol there?
Yeah.
Well, I think there's an omega symbol.
Does that mean anything?
There's a variant. Well, it's a variant.
Oh, it's a variant. Okay.
And it's a connecting cover. Check that
That's
out.
cool.
Let's see if I can get that right. You see that?
Yeah.
But check it out. It also connects the other way too. And it really does if you connect everything, except they've got one little mistake. You see the little bubble at the lower one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But everything else does.
That's cool.
So
I love
this
covers.
This is the new team. This is you can see Halo's got her new haircut. We've got Katana. I forget.
Is that Looker?
It may be actually. It's been a long time. I forget all these characters actually, but obviously the new Geo-Force in his green costume. Although I guess that was from Volume 1 when he switched to green. And I forget who all these are. But what's really cool about this title is this actually ties in to the Reign of the Supermen, and it includes the Eradicator. For quite a few issues. Superman comes in and has to fight him, and it's pretty cool. And then I think it's Volume 3 of The Outsiders, because there was Batman The Outsiders and then Outsiders. And this, like I said, there was Volume 1. This is Volume 2. There was a Volume 3. I think it was Volume 3 that has tie-ins to Blackest Night. So, It's a fun title. They've been around for a while and they've been tied into all of these big events. And it's just kind of weird that you don't hear people talk about them that often. But you go back to those titles and they're long runs too. Like there's a lot of material there.
So these are primarily dollar books, to be honest with you, when you're looking at LCSs. So Batman left after issue 32, and then it changed from Batman and the Outsiders to Adventures of the Outsiders. At the same time, they continued the numbering too. So 33 is the first issue of Adventures of the Outsiders. That's without Batman. Okay. That same time that they published that issue is when they published the first issue of Volume 1 of The Outsiders, which was a direct-only series. So that was set like a brief time in the future, like 6 months in the future or whatever. So at that time, you only could get those books at comic book stores. And then about a year later, they started reprinting those in the newsstand formats in the Adventures of the Outsider titles, if that makes sense. They did the same thing to Teen Titans when it became Tales of the Teen Titans. And they did the same thing with Legion of Superheroes. There you go.
Which volume is that?
That's Volume 1, right?
Volume
yep.
1.
Yeah.
Volume 1.
That's cool. I've never read that series. They call it the Baxter series because it's on that nice Baxter paper. Is that good?
I haven't read this one.
Okay. He owns it. He just hasn't read it yet. So I don't know if I'll go. Right now, I don't have plans on going after that once I wrap up Batman and the Outsiders and Adventures of the Outsiders, but who knows, because those are very cheap books too. Especially if I can find a lot of them, like 15 issues for $10 or something. So
I read the Batman and the Outsiders title, and then I read the 90s title, but I never read that one. And then
do you have more than that one or just the first issue?
Yeah, I've got a whole run of them there. Yeah. And then it wasn't, I want to say it was the New 52, but I think it was just prior to the New 52 is when they had another run. So
yeah, that sounds right. So it was fun trip down memory lane tonight.
Yeah.
And Comic Food 2814 next week, this show, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, which also is not forgetting to say hello to EIC, our good friend. We will be on your channel, and you will be doing and picking the retro review for next week. What are you laughing about?
Okay. I don't know.
His reaction. You told us on his channel. It's like you told him, a family member was injured.
Okay,
in a car
let me
accident.
try this again. Next week, Tony, is it on your channel?
No, it is not.
Oh, okay. Foo, it's on your channel next week, and it's your pick.
Okay.
If it was on my channel, it'd be us and then like 2 people watching.
Well,
I just can't pull the numbers that you guys can. Then I just don't have the time to run down here and hit the start button sometimes. So that's what it comes
All right.
to.
I don't know what we're reading yet, but I'll pick something.
you'll figure that out.
I'm gonna go ahead and guess it's Green Lantern related.
Just for that, it's Harley.
I'm out.
Ooh.
I'm gonna be sick next week. I can feel
Do
it.
it to yourself, Tony.
I've got the itis. Although one thing a seed I want to drop into your brain, Mr. Fu, is Green Lantern Oblivion. If you've heard of that story, great run.
Oblivion.
Yep.
Which one is that?
Green Lantern Oblivion.
A title?
It's called Green Lantern Oblivion. It's a mini series. I think it was only like I want to say 12 issues.
12 issues?
I mean, I don't want to do it all in one day. I'm just saying, like, because it's a really minute run.
No, I've never heard of this. That's not real.
It is.
Hold on.
Hold up. Have it. Green Lantern.
Green Lantern Oblivion.
Yeah, right here. I have issue 1. Edge of Oblivion. I'm sorry. Edge of Oblivion.
Edge of Oblivion.
Sorry.
Big difference. And that, yes, I do have that.
Okay. Cool. It's a great run.
6-issue run.
6 issues. Okay. Yeah, I couldn't recall, but that's
Okay.
that's an awesome story.
That's the Guy Gardner story. Yes. And Kilowog, right?
Yeah, and Kilowog.
Those poozers.
I think that one was
John Stewart's in this one too.
I think that was Ethan Van Sciver's last run at DC. One of the last things he did.
I think you're right. Yep. Okay.
Fantastic run.
All right. We'll see.
Just an idea. You can do whatever you want.
Can I, Tony? Because it's my week. I can do whatever I want.
You can. But as a fellow Green Lantern fan, I enjoy spreading Green Lantern gospel any way I can.
All right. He had me going there for a bit. A 12-issue run of Green Lantern that I'd never heard of.
Scott, how you doing, Hoarder's Hide?
I forgot it was Edge of Oblivion. It's been a while. That came out in 2014?
Something like that, because it's the
16?
new 52 logo.
Yeah. It's been a while.
All right.
So that's where you'll find Fanboys next week. Thank you for joining us for this week's show. We had a fun time and hope you did too. If you watched on the rewind all the way to the end, that's awesome of you. We do hope that everyone has a great, fantastic week, and we look forward to catching up with you next week. Take care.